Glory Theater Paradise Band. Come on, how about for the band, y'all? This next person that we're going to try and bring to life through our performance is Mr. S.S. Jones. And he, in fact, was a musician. He was part of the Skid Row Musicians Network that at one time practiced and performed right here in the Leonine. Brother Jose, you ready, man?
They call me Soul Singer Jones. That's what SS stands for. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. My parents were good middle class folks. They made sure I had a profession. I played football, got a scholarship at Delaware State, and graduated with a degree in English. I was always playing music. My parents were artistic. My father sang. My mother was an actress. But they never made money at it. They had day jobs. My father was a baker, and my mother worked as a nurse. Whether directly or indirectly, through distribution of genes or whatever it was,
I love music.
I learned to play the guitar at 17.
After college, I became a teacher, and I liked it. I loved being around children. I was a good teacher because of that. It's a lot of work being a teacher, but I jumped on it. I like all the hustle and bustle, you know, kids running around this way and that way. It's definitely not boring. But after 10 years as a teacher, I quit. I packed it in, and I came to Hollywood. I just had to stop and put my whole self into my music.
I was 37 years old when I moved here. I was playing clubs in Hollywood, Leimert Park, all over Los Angeles. Later, I started rehearsals, a rehearsal studio program for homeless musicians. When you have a calling, it will eventually raise its head. I came to Hollywood in 1982 and landed in a huge community of studio musicians. There was just a huge community of musicians in Hollywood. Just guys hanging around studios to get a gig or promote songs. I was very much involved in that circuit. Eventually I started a band and got to play on Melrose Avenue. It was a pretty good band. Got some good notoriety. Played around and did some telethons and things like that. Got a couple of offers to play overseas, but I turned them down because I needed to be here to get a recording contract.
At the time, Hollywood was going through a transformation. They started doing a lot of things like they doing on Skid Row. They're trying to move a lot of people on Skid Row right now. And back then they were trying to revitalize Hollywood. A lot of guys I played with, musicians and street guys, were pretty much pushed aside. We were not allowed to play openly in the street anymore. They started cracking down on street musicians, harassing people, changing the atmosphere. Rent started going up.
When that happened on Hollywood Boulevard, you started a migration of a lot of musicians to downtown because there was really nothing downtown. You could get a loft and you could crank it up and play all night long. Nobody would bother you. So a lot of guys came out here and started to play. My two brothers and I always had housing in the SRO Hotel. I continued to live on Skid Row. I go to Hollywood when I'm playing there.
Bill Ebbers was a musician, and he was the housing manager for SRO Housing. Bill got SRO to give up a rehearsal space in the basement on the Leonard Hotel. Before that, he'd been playing on the roof or the hotel next to the Ford. But this space was great because we now had a safe place to rehearse and to start.
Now, it was just 4 of us when we started. A lot of guys would ask us if they could come and join our weekly jam session. We got so many requests of people who wanted to come that we thought we would expand it a little bit. We decided to put together a little organization.
The Musicians Network!
And invite all the musicians. We put out ads in the community that said,
You play an instrument?
Want to be in a band?
Need some rehearsal space?
we started distributing these flyers around. And we had a tremendous response. We had a ton of people. There were guys who came from Hollywood who were still on hard times. They were living on the street and didn't have a place to rehearse or play. A lot of them had some pretty good instruments. I remember this one guy, he was sleeping on the sidewalk with his $5,000 Gibson guitar.
Then SRO implemented a rule that people would have to be in recovery in order to join the Musicians Network. You had to be clean and sober to live in the hotel. Now you had to be clean and sober to play music. That doesn't work. In the basement. That pretty much thinned out the crowd. And it didn't stick too well with me because, you know, quite frankly, most of the musicians that I know were alcoholics or used some sort of mood enhancer. I myself, I enjoy beer every now and then, so I can't say I was in total recovery either, but I left too, because I decided not to be a part of it.
But after a year, they asked me back. The network had almost died out. I came back and tried to reformulate it. I wanted to focus on the professional endeavors for people in this community to work professionally in the music business. So we started to have weekly meetings to discuss how to copyright your songs, how to book recording times, how to book yourself. And we took away that stipulation about being in recovery and all that.
I changed the name to
Skid Row
Musicians Network. That worked. It worked out tremendously well. I think at the height we made 22 bands, individual units for 3 to 6 piece bands. You have to come to our monthly meeting and get a rehearsal space for your band.
That's right.
That week. We had a chart that put up. We had a chart that put up the band. Time slots were 2 hours a band, and they ran from
Monday to Sunday.
7 days a week.
From 7 p.m. to midnight.
right on.
You got it.
Go ahead, okay.
I stipulated one thing, to be with the Skid Row Musicians Network.
7 p.m. to
You
midnight.
had to commit to play at least one show on Skid Row. We did monthly shows down on Skid Row. So when you booked your pre-rehearsal time for that week, you also had to commit to one of our shows. That cut down a lot of the guys because we just wanted to practice and do their own thing. Oh man, I don't play for free. I've got a gig in Hollywood, but it made me better because we got people who were really deep into the community. They didn't mind going out and sharing it. Our shows really got popular. We did shows in Gladys Park and on Fridays and shows at the Leonard. We had a slogan.
Feed not their mouths.
Not their mouths, but their souls.
We were the feeders of the community. Instead of food, we were serving up music.
The Skid Row Musician Network had its own logo. A man with a guitar on his back, pushing a shopping cart. We produced our own CD.
Live at the Leonard.
We got 18 bands there that particular night. These bands were really the heart and soul of what was downtown on Skid Row at that time. And we recorded it. There were people standing outside dancing on the sidewalk.
We had plans to start free guitar lessons and music lessons for the kids. There were lots of kids running around on Skid Row, and the only models for anything they had were the drug dealers. Kids would see us coming in with our music. They would jump around. SRO loved the idea.
We love the idea.
Yeah, but we're concerned.
We need to get special insurance to have kids under 18 in the basement.
So we never got it off the ground.
Then in 1986 came the big storm. Y'all remember the big storm? It rained so bad, the basement was flooded, and we lost all of our equipment. We couldn't use this space for 7 months or so. And then when SRO got it cleaned up, they said,
We don't know if it's safe for you to be down there.
so, you know, it became nearly impossible. So we never put it back together.
Ted Hayes offered us a new rehearsal space in Dome Village. It was a nice offer and a good place. But we had to rehearse outside. We couldn't leave our instruments in there, and we couldn't always make noise.
Ted introduced us to Lisa Strassman, a wealthy West Sider, and she and her husband started supporting us. My band,
S.S. Jones and the Blues
Riders, became the face of Skid Row Musicians Network.
I got you kids.
Close for the band.
I paid you in your rent.
I thought you were a rehearsal space.
Just south of Skid Row on Adams, we played clubs in the Central Avenue Jazz Festival. I got you gigs performing on the GOP, that's right, a Republican function.
My most memorable moment was when we were playing the Jerry Lewis Telethon. And we were playing after Ray Charles and before Julio Iglesias. I'll never forget it. They took Ray Charles' name tag down from the dressing room door and replaced it with S.S. Jones and the Blues Riders.
I live on Skid Row, but I ain't no dummy. I'm a professional musician, a former English teacher, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna sell my music, my soul, my art for pennies or $1. Too many folks and too many of my fellow artists have died, broke penniless, because they signed bad contracts. Folks like Lloyd Price, he had all those hit records, and he died without a pot to piss in.
So one of my purposes for the Skid Row Musicians Network was to show how a pro handles his business. S.S. Jones and the Blues Riders were doing swell because Lisa got us all those bookings and dressed up in a tuxedo instead of making us look like a fucking blues band.
But then she came up with a real lousy contract that would have given her all the rights to our music. Split the band. I knew better, but some of the guys just couldn't see what was happening. All they knew was that you rich white lady was footing all the bills and dressing up well, but I could not sell my soul like that. So our band split. I kept my dignity, my pride, and the little room on Skid Row.
Now, just 2 weeks ago, I finally got a contract with a label that pays 25 cents per dollar. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
It's S.S. Jones, folks. S.S. Jones.
Here we go.